My original plan when I went to Peru was to do kind of like the big main events when you go there, like Machu Picchu and stuff. All my friends that were there had already finished all of that by the time I got there. So I just decided Peru's kind of like an easy place to meet them. Okay, I'll go over there, be there for about a week and a bit, maybe 2 weeks, and then continue our travel throughout the other countries. I landed in Cusco and I was there for about 2 days. And then we went to this small desert town called Huacachina. We were there for about 2 days as well. It was amazing and I felt really safe. It was a breath of fresh air and I didn't feel tied down to reality back home. It was just like I could be my own person. It was really freeing and really fun. And then when we got to our Airbnb, which was about 3 hours away from Huacachina, we found out about 20 minutes upon arrival that we were going to be in lockdown. The national lockdown, it was kind of similar to Australia's. You had to stay inside. The only way you could leave your residence was if you were exercising for an hour, had to go grocery shopping, or for medical reasons. I was in lockdown for about a month. Our lockdown specifically in the Airbnb was much more of a luckier situation than others because we weren't in a hostel. We were in an Airbnb, which was really big and we had heaps of people. So we were never lonely. It was my first time solo traveling, even though like I met friends over there. It was more exciting to be around so many people. When you're around new people, it's harder to get sick of being around said people, whereas when you're with people you're comfortable with, it's easier to get mad and annoyed. So I was really just enjoying my time. I never felt unsafe. If anything, I felt probably the most safe I've ever felt in another foreign country. So we were in the lockdown and then we heard between the 1st and 3rd of April that borders would reopen for foreigners so they could get home. So it was kind of just like a waiting game. That was the part where it was more scarier for us because we didn't really know how we were going to get home. A few days later, the Australian government announced a flight which was 5 to 10 grand to get home. We didn't have that kind of money. A few days after that, they announced another one which was a bit cheaper so we could afford it. The government collected us. We went to the airport, began our travel home, which was over 24 hours of traveling. We eventually got home and landed, and that was it.
Of 16 from this eastern western city.
And during that you can enjoy a nice pig on the spit.
The Yugoslavia, and then you had the Kosovo War. Yugoslavia was a completely bogus war.
The National Army began to respond. Ethnic cleansing. All of the partisans were very, very much bloody.
When I came to Australia, I was about 16 or 17. My name is Stan Bauer, and I come from a little village called Niemce in Croatia. It was very hard because then wasn't Croatia, it was Yugoslavia, and it was very hard to live under communism. They have to always know where you are or where you're going. Say one word against the president, you go to prison. So it was like dictatorship. In my early days in Australia, I had no contact because I was in the basically jungles, working in the forests, where we would work 12 days straight. So I wasn't happy when I was working same as everybody else and harder and getting only half of the money. But in the early days, we were just trying to stay out of being called Croatian terrorists and walks and stuff like that, and we were contributing in every way we can to show that we are worthy citizens. We work hard. When I come to Australia, I was very, very grateful for the opportunity. Anyone that want to work hard could achieve something, and help me forget all the things in the past that happened. We come to the country where I even thought it was too much democracy. You know, you could speak out, you could say anything that you think is right and not being thrown in jail. I think Australia is a lucky country, and if you want to work hard, you could achieve something. How would I describe my wife? Could you just hold on a second and I'll show you. You got it?
Hi. Hi, how are you? Good, thanks. So thank you for joining me today. Can I please get a quick introduction from you?
Yeah. I'm Bianca Rima. I'm 18 years old. I'm currently studying in Monash University, studying health sciences. And I came to Australia 4 years ago, moving from Indonesia. I definitely felt as if I've been a part of community, especially from school, because my schoolmates were very welcoming when I moved here, and it was such a good experience when coming to a different culture. There was this instance a couple months ago. I went to a restaurant. This was after the COVID-19 news broke out. We were given lots of stares in the restaurant, and the waitress was definitely not polite. This experience had definitely made me feel angry and disappointed because I expected better from people who live in such a multicultural country, and I expected them to know better that this virus is not only exclusive to race. Coming here, I feel as if there is a part of me that I just reconnected myself with, because I just found people who I can easily communicate and connect with, and it's just been such a great experience living here in Australia.
Okay, thank you for that. Bye.
I know.
Hello, my name is. Please like and subscribe. My name is Carlos Dionisio. I am a software engineer as my full-time job, but I also did a lot of YouTube in the past, and I still do a bit today. But many years ago, I was doing weekly videos on YouTube, and then I got married, got busy. It was crazy, but I always wanted to go back. I like having this creative outlet where I can do things, and YouTube was that for me at the time. And one day I realized, you know what, maybe I should make a video every day. That's a good commitment to make. I was watching some vloggers, especially Casey Neistat at the time. It was inspired me, and I thought, if it's not a good time to do this right now, but it's gonna get worse. It's never gonna be a good time, so I'm just gonna do it. I'll go for it. Let's see how long it's gonna last. And it lasted a long time, like a year, more than a year even. The thing with vlogging is people like to watch other people for various reasons. Finding the right niche is always the hard thing, and it's what I battle with for the whole time I was vlogging, because I'm not famous. I don't know if what I'm doing is interesting. So you really need to find the right niche of people to watch your vlogging. Because a vlog is something you make, and a week later it's not relevant anymore. It's only relevant on that day. As I said before, I stopped vlogging after a year-ish. Don't know exactly how many days. And the reason I stopped after a year is because I kind of set myself to I'll do it for a year and see how it goes. It was using a lot of my time. Making a video every day is a lot of effort. I spend at least two hours a day just editing, not counting the time I spent filming it, right? Every day. That's a lot of work. So I thought I can put my creative energy towards something that will give me a better result. Not that the only reason why I did it was for get subscribers and get a result, but if what I'm doing doesn't result in something useful, I'm not happy.
Hi, my name's Finn O'Regan. I'm a street sanitizer in the city of Melbourne, frontline worker during the COVID-19 crisis.
So what was your job situation like before COVID-19?
So I'd just gotten an opportunity with Epicure, which is run by Spotless, who cater at the MCG. I did the orientation, and then my first shifts were cancelled due to the pandemic. Because I was employed with Spotless, I got the opportunity to do this new street sanitizing thing.
So what does your new job entail?
What we do is we try to sanitize touch points, and we sanitize them. We wipe, a hospital grade disinfectant on them. We try to hit areas about 4 times. We have disposable latex gloves, and we have to put them on as soon as we arrive in the morning before we touch anything, and we have to be wearing them the entire time. We've got high-vis vests, which is good in case of an accident.
How do you feel on the front line of the COVID-19 response?
It's a bit weird because we're outside when no one's there. It's crazy. It's nice to see the reaction from the public. We got a lot of people saying, good job, thank you, you're making the city safer. We do have some positive reputation in the public, which is nice to hear.
Have you ever been scared at any point during the work for whatever reason?
There was a bit of a scare last week when one of my co-workers got a bit sniffly and got tested for the virus. So we took a couple of days off work, and we're all a bit like, well, what happens if he does have it? Like, well, all of us are going to have to go home. There are 20 of us and we'll all have to go home. Luckily, he did turn out negative, and so everything's fine now.
How are you expecting your life to go back to normal after the COVID-19 response ends?
I don't know. There's definitely going to be this line between before COVID and after COVID. And yeah, it's never going to be the same as it was. It's a bit scary for me because it's change, and change is scary.
Hey, I'm Jada. I'm going to start again. Hey, I'm Jada. I'm 20 years old. I play bass guitar in a band called Teen Jesus and the Gene Teasers. And yeah, it's pretty fun.
Hi, we're Teen Jesus and the Gene Teasers.
I'm about 15, 16. We had a sleepover for our drummer's birthday and we watched the movie School of Rock, and inspired us to start a band. I had really big hands, and you have to have big hands to play bass, so they were like, Jada, you're on bass. And then the next day we had our first jam and it was terrible. And here we are. We've experienced a little bit of sexism in the industry. People just saying stuff like, you're pretty cool for a girl band, and sound guys kind of being trying to show you what to do when you already know what to do, and they just automatically assume that you can't play an instrument because you're a female. Being in the band since a young age has been so important to my growth as a person, having to be a bit more adulty, kind of organize business by ourselves by the age of 16, 17. And it's so good to, kind of have these people there no matter what. It's just given us so much life experience. I would definitely not be as open and probably as confident about myself as I am now. We usually write a whole lot about love and being young teenagers, kind of not really knowing what we're doing and being confused. We try to make them really relatable to other people our age, so they can kind of listen to our songs and be like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling the exact same way. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I guess the exact genre, being punky grunge, and we're kind of these bubbly, fun girls might not fit, but I think we've kind of made a way for it to fit, change the music in a way that it's definitely our style. It's definitely empowering for me.
My name is Kira Lyons. I am a performing arts educator. I've been working in the theatre industry for over 20 years, primarily as a puppeteer, but also as a director and a performer. I always loved puppets. I was kind of born and bred on Sesame Street and The Muppet Show, and Bagpuss from England was one of my favourites as a kid. And I think as a kid I was a bit too serious for my own good, a little bit too weighty, and I approached the world with such considered complexity. I was always that kid that wanted to know why was I here, what was my purpose. In year 9 I got a drama teacher who taught me about the importance of story. She was really life-changing for me. She was pivotal in enabling me to understand that I could see myself in theatrical stories and to see myself as a valid part of a particular community. The world is crazy. We were all born on this rock in outer space, and we suddenly, as humans, endow ourselves with this complexity of morality and good and bad and right and wrong and deservedness and all these concepts, and it's so overwhelming. Maybe the puppets just balanced me out because they were simple. They were really just simple. My advice to myself would be don't take things too seriously. The reason she, me, you was so drawn to the simplicity and the silliness of those puppets is that there is a necessity in not taking things too seriously. The meaning of your life is created by you, so you work it out and you decide what you want to give and what you want to get out of it. That's the best pursuit there can be.
This is Tom. He's one of my closest friends and I've known him for more than 9 years. Today I wanted to talk with him about something that doesn't get brought up at all in our discussions: mental health and anxiety.
I wouldn't say that I have anxiety. I haven't been diagnosed with anxiety, but I've definitely felt anxious in the past. One experience in Japan when I was there before year 12. So I went there up by myself, and near the start of the trip, I just felt really anxious and worried. I don't know why. I don't know if it was a culture shock. I don't know if it was the weather. I don't know if, it didn't live up to expectations, but I just felt uneasy and worried. And I didn't feel like it, there was a reason for it. And that's what was really weird. I felt a bit out of place because Japanese lifestyle is very different to Australian. I mean, even just with the amount of people that live in Japan and their housing is all up rather than out, and we're so used to big spaces and big parks, and it's just not the same there in Japan. It might have been something to do with the culture around temples and that whole kind of spirituality that's engrossed in Japanese culture. So you do stand out. Like, they have great style, and you're just there with some ski jacket on, some hiking boots, and you just really feel out of place. I don't know if that's it. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just because I have no sense of style, but I would probably say it was a one-off, because I haven't felt that same level of anxiety when, I was just worried and I just wanted to go home. Yes, it definitely got better. Tokyo really was the turning point. I think I just loved that city so much. It was so vibrant, so cheerful, so lively. It turned out to be one of the most amazing experiences. And when I look back on Japan now, I don't see the anxiety Tom. I think that's the very interesting thing about anxiety, in that, you can be feeling so bad and then suddenly it turns around and then it's just, a completely different experience.
This week's short story is about a saxophone girl.
Hello， 我是石肖帆，英文名是 Lucia， 然后现在就读于墨尔本大学的 Science。因为我之前小时候学的是长笛，然后感觉就是只是一个乐器的话，就好像学到头了，就想学一个有点相似但是又不一样的乐器。对。
后来你也说你跟着学校的乐团去海外参赛还是什么之类的，那你在那个时候有接触到什么新鲜的事情或者人吗？
因为当时我们去的时候是一个美国独立日还有林肯纪念堂的2个活动，然后当时就是不仅是我们一个乐队，还有很多其他的那种世界各国的乐队就是一起的，所以当时我们就和他一起排练，就感觉就是很不一样。而且当时我们还在好像是一个中央火车站，就是那个 BTS 这次回归的那个火车站里，然后也有一场演出，当时就是完全是形形色色的路人会在那边驻足观看，就会感觉又紧张，但是又感觉就是很难忘的一个经历。我觉得就是学习萨克斯风的话，可以更好的交朋友吧，因为感觉国外会那种乐器的还挺多的，然后就会一下子就会和他们有话题聊。对，因为就是授课啊这样子，就会有一点自己可观的收入。好，结束。
This is kind of crazy. Capture the objectives. I play online games often, and I've been playing it, I think, since primary school, which is like at the age of 6 or 7. I think it's different for different games. I play strategic games, and for strategic games, I think I develop problem-solving skills, and it helps me solve things in life quicker, I guess. And for shooting games, I think I gain a lot of skills in reflexes. I enhance my reflexes, and I'm so much more aware of my surroundings. There you can see how they interact with others, how like if they have anger issues, if they're patient or not. And I guess as a team, you get to like work together with each other's differences. Yeah, and so I think I can adapt to different people through the game. Gaming is a way for me to release my stress and like fatigue throughout the day, and I think that helps me clear off my mind, and I become a more positive and happy person, and I think it affects people around me as well. Definitely, I think it's positive for me because without gaming, I wouldn't know what to do. I'd be bored to death. Like I'd probably just do my assignments, lectures, and probably just sit home doing nothing. And I guess it helped me interact also with my friends. Like I could call them and like play with them and make memories from afar. The only concern I have for gaming is the possibility of me getting addicted to it, and like sometimes I lose track of time playing the game because it's so fun. Like you just lose track of time. Like I thought it was 30 minutes, but 3 hours passed, and I don't think it'll be productive for life. And like for example, if I have to do schoolwork, exercise, and spend time like with my family, friends. Yeah.
一名在武汉工作了5年的急诊科医生，在这里读书读了几年，总共生活了8年。我还是比较喜欢这个城市的。其实说实话，没有想着是冒着生命危险在一线上班，是真的这样的。因为觉得自始至终就觉得这是我们的职责所在，是我们该做的事情。我们只需要具有一双鹰的眼睛，然后及时的发现病人、甄别病人，及时上报就行了。日常生活很单调，每天就是上班，上班下班，吃饭，休息，就是这样的。因为没有任何娱乐生活，同时也不能聚在一起。即使我们在科室吃饭，也都是隔着几米远。工作的时候主要是要穿防护服，戴 N95 口罩，还有那个面屏、眼罩、铁套啊等等这一身防护装备。穿这个衣服就需要15到20分钟，但又不能喝水，又不能上厕所。有的时候我们为了省一套防护服，我们都不敢喝水，不敢就是憋尿啊，这种情况是经常存在的。比较感动的事情就是经常点的外卖那家，就是我们医务人员以前经常点的外卖那家呢，他就会给我们送自己最喜欢经常点的一些东西。这种意外惊喜很开心，尤其是在上班的时候，很劳累的时候，这种感动是一辈子都很难忘的。他们其实是很担心我在前线万一被感染了怎么样。但是我们作为一个医务人员是从来都不会有这种想法的，因为就像我最开始说的，这就是我们的职责所在。即使是在最困难，即使是连他的家属，连一个病人的家属都远远的站在一边，不愿意去碰这个病人的时候，只有我们医务人员才会冲上去，即使我们就是没有带防护服。
I'm Rose and I have a chronic illness called fibromyalgia. So the symptoms of fibromyalgia are chronic widespread pain, fatigue, insomnia, like migraines. It's a lot of nerve pain is sort of what it revolves around. So I think the moment that I first realized that like what I was feeling wasn't normal, I was 12, I was in year 7, and I just spent like 2 hours typing up a last minute essay that I'd completely forgotten about. And afterwards I just had this really uncomfortable pain in like the base of my thumb, and it didn't feel right. That's kind of when it first started. It was in like my arms, and then it was in my back and my hips and my face and like pretty much everywhere by the time I was 17. There are a lot of people, even medical professionals, that don't believe that it's like a real condition, because you can get like 1 million blood tests done and nothing will show up. It's just something that is like a diagnosis that comes from a process of eliminations. Like, especially when I was younger and I first started going to doctors about it, you know, I would sort of explain to them that, you know, I was in constant pain, I was having all these things going wrong, and they would sort of ask me questions like, is there something going on at school? So a lot of people didn't really take me seriously until I was 18 and I went to the doctors on my own, and I just kind of said, like, I'm not going to leave here until someone can tell me what I have. If there was one thing that I could say to the people who didn't believe me, it would probably just be, you know, like, fuck you for not believing me, because I think that if people had taken me more seriously when, like, I first started going and seeing different doctors, I would have had an answer a lot earlier, and I would have been able to find like a sort of treatment that worked for me earlier on, and maybe I wouldn't have, you know, suffered as much. Something that I would say to my younger self would probably be, don't let people ignore you or shut you down, and just keep sort of persevering, and like, don't stop sort of trying to find answers, because they are out there. And that's what I would say to anyone who's going through the same thing, I guess.
When I was about 4, my mum had alcohol problems. Growing up with a mum that was a bit sick was like, it's very confronting. In my opinion, the society views people with addictions as a problem and not as something that needs to be like addressed. Instead, they're just like, oh, they're the people that are like, I don't know how to word it, but like the people that are like wrong with this world. They're not exactly wrong, like they're not, like it's not a good thing, but it's not, they shouldn't be considered like enemies. Some of my happiest memories are when I go to Orange, like now. We usually have a great time. We watch movies together. We play basketball sometimes. We play board games. I still love her, and she's good now. My mum has a lot of love for me.
I've been playing piano for 12 years. At the start, I just feel like it's always been like a fluctuating relationship. When lockdown first started, I thought that would be really cool, you know, practice a little bit every day. Then I thought, you know, I'm just kind of sick of just reading stuff and just playing it. I just feel like you don't really get, well, for me, I felt like I couldn't really connect with it as much. So then I thought, you know, I could start writing my own type of stuff. I have so much time now, you know, even if I could write like 6 songs, like that would be really cool. Even if they were just 3 minutes or something, it didn't have to be extremely long. I thought that would be really good. But, you know, then kind of reality hits and you try to do it. I would just sit at my piano for hours and I just like be playing chords together and I'm like, this sounds really good. This is so shit. I sound so shit. More difficult than I thought it would. Thought it sounded boring. On Instagram, social media, whatever, everyone's like, you know, I've just baked 5 cakes and I've just done 10 paintings. Like, you know, everyone's being really productive and doing all this stuff. And I'm just sitting here like I can't even find like 4 chords that I like together that sound really good. Yeah, I did feel quite pressured because everyone else was being really productive and I wasn't. So I felt like, you know, I wasn't living up to the expectations and I wasn't using my time effectively. What I've learned from lockdown is I feel I just need to not be as hard on myself and not have that pressure, because when I did have that pressure of, okay, it's lockdown, I have all this time, I need to make this and I need to do this, I just felt like I wasn't achieving. And not only that, like it just wasn't fun, it wasn't enjoyable, it was just something stressful, which is what it shouldn't be.
Hello, Yosan.
Hi.
It's been a long
How are
time.
you?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's good. Okay, so let's start do the interview.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So the first question, where I come from and how long have you been in Melbourne?
For me, I'm from China and northeastern of China, and I have been in Melbourne is almost 9 months. Physically, for me, I have 2 choices. One is from Melbourne and one is for Sydney. Because this choice is given by my school. Because my bachelor degree, it's a double degree program. So first 2 years, I got in Beijing Normal University, and the last 2 years I got in. I need to choose one university in foreign countries. So I choose to Melbourne. For me, the major is business marketing, bachelor degree. For me, I think more interest more than the difficult. And I know it's this period, you know, due to the coronavirus is very difficult time, but everyone isolated at home. For me as well, so I feel a little bit lonely, but I use the Canvas to have a video time. Yeah, but sometimes is feel boring, to be honest. So, but fortunately, I can online to face, just like you and me now, and we can share each other and can communicate in a new way. But no class. Well, it's a good question. It's just on my tongue. Wait a minute. For me, I moved to my house. Yeah, I moved to Encounter from another suburb. So in this period, if I no class, I will move my stuffs, like to water my flowers, drink coffees, yeah, and have a walk and have a jogging, do some sports and make me to disport some cortisol of my brain. Yeah, and I can talk with my friends